I dreamed I saw you go ball. The night was cold, I couldn't even call his name, though I tried. So I hung my head and cried. I dreamed I saw you go ball, and he looked fine, he stood tall, but he lived in a world of pain. I never saw you go again.
Mis zapatos están muertos, oh micrófono. Mis zapatos están muertos, oh micrófono. Mis zapatos están muertos, oh micrófono.
My shoes are dead, oh microphone.
Mis zapatos están muertos, oh micrófono.
Oh microphone.
Mis zapatos
My
están
shoes
muertos,
are
oh
dead,
micrófono.
oh microphone.
Mis zapatos
They are dead.
muertos, oh micrófono.
Oh microphone, my shoes.
Muertos, oh micrófono.
I
My
am.
shoes are dead.
Mis zapatos están
Yet what I
muertos,
am,
oh
who cares or
micrófono.
They are
knows?
dead, oh microphone.
My friends forsake me like a memory
Mis
lost.
zapatos están muertos, oh micrófono.
I am the
My shoes
self-consumer
are
of
dead.
my woes. They rise and vanish, shadows of
Mis
life
zapatos
whose very
están
soul is
muertos, oh
lost.
micrófono.
Oh
And yet I
microphone,
am.
my shoes
I live.
are dead.
Though I
Oh,
am
my
tossed
God,
into the
dead.
nothingness of scorn
They are
and
dead.
Mis
noise,
zapatos
into the living sea of waking
Muertos.
dream,
Oh
where there is neither
microphone.
sense of life nor
zapatos.
joys but the huge shipwreck of my
shoes,
own
oh,
esteem.
They are
And
dead,
all
oh
that's dear,
microphone.
even those I love the best, are
Mis
strange.
zapatos están muertos,
Nay,
oh
they are
micrófono.
stranger than the rest.
Are dead.
I long for scenes
Mis
where man
zapatos
has
están
never trod,
muertos, oh micrófono.
for scenes where woman never smiled or
dead.
wept, there to abide with my Creator,
Oh microphone,
God,
my
to sleep
shoes.
as I in childhood sweetly slept,
They are
zapatos.
dead.
full of high thoughts,
Muertos, oh
unborn.
micrófono.
So let me lie,
So let me lie.
the grass
Muertos, oh
below,
micrófono.
above,
Muertos, oh
the vaulted
micrófono.
sky, the
My shoes are
sky.
dead, oh microphone. My shoes are dead, oh microphone. My shoes are dead, oh
I dedicate this piece to Rob.
Ben den hen ken len men pen ten fen wen yen pig pen. A big fat pig sat in a pig pen. A wet hen sat in a tub. Ben get us a net. Len had a pet hen. Did Dad let Ken get a cap gun? Dad met Sis at 10. Did Sis hug him? 10 men sat in a bus. Can 10 men sit in a big bus? Ben den fen can man pen 10 when ban dan fan kin man pin din win ben len men ben when yeah bat let met pat wet yet bed fed led net red Ted, Ted, Jed, Red, Jed, Fed, a red pig, in a pig pen, pig, head, a red cat, a man, let a pig, a man, let a pig, head, a man, fed, it, had a pet, and fed it, ham did get big, Ed fed fat, ham did had a nap in bed, get up, Ned fed, sat up in bed and didn't get up yet, better Ned, a jet sat up, did it, a butt fat, a jet up, ted, fed, jet led, red, dead, fed, led, when, beg, leg, meg, peg, Tim ran, but Ted had a bad leg, Ned had a cap on a peg, a leg, Ken, Jim, Meg did pal, sit up, did pal, beg, did pal, yip, did pal, yip, pal, did Meg, had fed him, Ed can get up, him, Ed get up, Ed can Ed get up, Ed did Ed get it yet, then up, pop, Ned get up, beg, if up, can sit up, can beg, leg, meg, peg, beg, leg, bug, lug, mug, will, leg, can, leg, mag, beg, leg, bug, lug, mug, pug, bed, lead, less, west, yes, hem, lem, pep, hep, lem, had a cub in a pen, can, sis, hem, a biff, yes, sis, can, hem, it, get up, let's get up, let us in this, let's get up, yes, less did, less had pets, less had been dead, let us get a cat, did West get a cat, yes, West did, lem had, lem cut it up, pal sat up, lem fed, pal ham, pep, less pep, him, hip, leg, peg, web, mel, deb, jeb, zeb, dad, can, jeb, get a cap, gun, did dad, let jeb, get it, a cat, can rip, a web, deb, had a red kid, bag, can, deb, zip it, yes, deb, can zip it, mel had a tan cap, it had a bad rip, can Mel get a red cap, yes, Mel can get a red cap, Zeb can white sit up, yes, white can sit up, white, beg, white, deb, jeb, web, dub, jib, west.
What is becoming, it is past now. What is past, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into
Through
what
the
is
cold,
becoming, it is
through
past
the dark,
now.
through
What
the
is
everything.
past,
Dark
it is
sayings of
become again.
tongues, the circle
Cold,
changes.
dark,
Dark sayings of
everything.
tongues speaking, the cycle
Through the
hides.
cold,
The caves hold in
through
the
the
blackness,
dark,
through the
through the
cold,
everything.
through the
Through the
dark,
cold,
through the everything,
everything
holding
cold,
dark phrases,
everything
holding
dark,
broken sentences.
everything
Remember
cold,
to
everything
return,
dark,
return.
everything
What is
everything
becoming,
Return.
it is past now.
Return.
What is past, it is become
Return.
again. All this, it is apparent now. An open
Return.
ending, an ending open
Return.
into what is becoming, it is past now. What
Feed
is past,
silence to the
it is
eye that
become
gathers
again.
it.
All this,
Seeing
it is
movement
apparent
there,
now.
saying come in
An
and
open
see the
ending,
deep
an
touchings
ending
upon
open
you.
into
That was a
what
long
is
time
becoming,
ago.
it is
The
past
body
now.
washed ashore in
What is
February
past,
could
it
not
is
be
become
identified
again.
in March.
All this
Was
is
consumed by
apparent now.
April,
An open
fed again
ending,
to
an
sea,
ending open
by June,
into
to
the
see.
circle changes what the dark
see.
tongue said. The cycle hides the caves. The caves hold blackness in their cycle. Blackness through the cold. Black through the darkness. Dark through the everything.
Become, it has
through the
passed.
everything,
Break
through
sentence,
the
hold the
everything,
phrase.
through
It has
the
become
everything,
again.
It has
through the
become
everything,
again.
Grown out of the
It
sea
has
this morning,
become
the
again.
window. I rose
It has
early,
become
walked to the
again.
shore, the sand, the frozen fingers, beneath me between the
has
toes,
become again.
leaves on the
It
morning's
has
hide,
become
higher than I'd
again.
ever
It
seen
has
before.
become
I'd
again.
never seen
It has
before,
become
been
again.
before,
It has become
been
Came out of the
before,
house
It
toward
has
the
been
beach.
before,
again.
He'd risen
It
been
early.
before,
I could see him there walking
before,
down from the house.
before,
The collar
It has
turned high
become
against the
again.
neck.
It
cloud of breath, the morning air, walking into, did I say into? He did walk into the morning air, the sea. Hello, I said. He said, hello, drifting out to sea, drifting out to sea.
He was dead,
To sea, to sea, to sea, to sea.
walking away from the shore,
Come again.
the body washing up behind him, the face wrinkled with care. I said, it has begun
Naked
again.
again.
What
through
she
the
said, I
passing
said,
earth.
it as it
The
began
earth's
before,
passing naked
the walk
again.
in the morning,
Through passing
the cold
through
air,
nakedness
the
to
strangers
earth
who rise
again,
early.
the earth again,
It is not
to the
past,
nakedness,
it
to
is
the
become
earth
again.
It
the
is
earth
become again.
The nakedness in the earth again,
Become
the
again.
earth again,
Now
in the
what is
warmth
past,
of
it
the
is
earth
become
again, the earth again, the warmth again of earth again, of earth again, the warmth again of earth again, in the nakedness of earth again, the earth again, the earth again, of nakedness of earth again, in the nakedness.
Followed the
of
river back,
the warmth
up from the
again,
house,
of
the
earth
sea.
again,
I had risen
the
early,
nakedness
rose
of
naked, the morning
earth
clear,
again,
early
the warmth
spring, the first
again,
melting
earth
patches of
again,
snow on the muddy
nakedness
ground,
of
skull of
earth
the rabbit,
again,
the bones that
nakedness
washed in
of
from the
it
sea,
is become
the skull,
again,
the shoulder,
it is become
followed the
again,
river back,
it
the
is
early
become
buds, the
again,
first
it
gestures,
is become
tied the boots
again,
on, a sweater,
it is
the
become
morning so
again,
cold, the
it is
tide
become
low,
again,
the bones
it
we
is
found, the
become
skull,
again,
the jewel in
it
the
is
eye, where the
become
eye
again,
was, where
it
the
is
eye might
become
have been,
again,
saw the
it
jewel
is
half
become
buried in the
again,
mud, the
it is
first
become
buds,
again,
breaking early, I
it
said,
is
they're
become
breaking
again,
early, the first
it is
mud,
become
the
again,
slogging, back up
it
the
is
river
become
towards the
again,
interior shelf,
it
the
is
continent
become
moving, a diary,
become
motion,
Trees.
motion.
She became the
Motion,
greenness, was
moving back
intense.
from the
Hills
motion, moving
hid.
into the motion.
Hills hid in her breasts,
motion,
heaving
motion,
beneath her
motion,
silk dress,
motion,
her body
motion,
becoming
motion,
flat,
motion,
quiet, field,
motion,
clinging the
motion,
loose turf, my
motion,
fingers sink in.
motion,
The brown
motion,
soil, she grew up in
motion,
sky, spread
motion,
wide her lips,
motion,
loosed
motion,
open to consume me, in
motion,
where the
motion,
ocean,
rising
the
in the
ocean,
nakedness
where
of
the
earth
ocean lay,
again,
where we had
the
played as
rising in
children,
the
which I had
nakedness
never
of
seen.
warmth again, the nakedness
different
of
now, we had
rising
both
in the
missed the
warmth
train.
again, the
How I
nakedness
ran the
of
platform
rising
length
in
to
the
catch
earth
it,
again,
how she was
the
still
nakedness
sitting
of
beyond the
rising in
wreckage,
the earth, the
motionless,
green, the
her body
greenness
lying
in the
there.
rising of the earth
We were beyond
again,
them,
the
where I
greenness
don't
in the
know, but
rising
behind
of the
them and
warmth
behind the
again,
slow
the warmth again
hills,
of rising in the
flat
green earth,
land,
the green again rising in the
brown
warm
earth.
earth, in the greenness
thought
of
of
the
her
warm
body,
earth, the
the rewards
warmth
it
of the
offered
green
up
earth,
to
rising
sky
in the green
and
earth,
sea.
the green
I could
again
barely
rising
see
in the warm earth,
the sun.
rising
I
in
could
the
barely
warm
see
earth, again
hot,
rising in
my
the
body
greenness
hot.
and the rising
I felt the
the
sweat move
warmer
down me, heard my
nakedness
pores
of
open, the
rising in
body.
the
I couldn't
green earth,
remember. Who was he?
warmer
Who was she?
rising.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
Do you remember? Remember.
She had risen early. Bright summer day, the grass was brown, the river sluggish flowed by the window. Leaned out over the street. Let's follow it down, she said. He'd said, let's follow it down. Find where the sea is. She said, I must find the sea. Who was she? Who was he? That day they'd risen late, breakfast cheerless, walked down to the street, the cars, the follow the river, she'd said. He'd said, we'll follow the river, a house by the sea. I want a house by the sea.
The rain of meteorites, fire from the sky seemed collapsed, his body stifled, the low drifting oxide tidal waves, his breathing difficult, back lashed against the rocks pelted down from the sky, collapsing above the dark cloak of a world the ancients had referred to in the days of Uzziah, Amos persecuted, killed for his truth-wanting lies. Passover, Haggadah, the worldwide consummation. They understood particulars, peculiar motive forces no longer sustaining the motion of its memory. members, digging up the bones for $2 a day. The sea had cleaned, but still the lava clinging to the spine, carefully taken apart, casts made, skin within stone, a mouth in rock, the jawbone melting into red rock. A little fly in amber she wore around her neck, lost several years ago and returned anonymously to her 3 months back. The incessant movement of sea, words on the page, the white experience, black print objects in a landscape thought of as verbal. There where we stood, the sky firm again after many ages of blocks fell heavy on the camp bed. High again, the high sky blue again and high. Ice melt is flowing south, the animals no longer protected by the solid block of ice melting, showing their bodies, fresh meat after 20,000 years, hundreds dead, refrigerated, grass still in their mouths unchewed. How did that happen? Ice melting round the corpse, meat decaying, flies bred in the hot sun, smashed into our eyes, the body decomposing faster, the smell becoming perceptibly worse now, the sky so blue and the heat becoming perceptibly worse, intense this summer we opened the tomb and saw the body of the last king of the Middle Kingdom blow away, powdered history sifting through our hands, white clean at our sides on dirty shorts. Eyes fell in her pretty body there, princess forgive my eyes falling in their sockets like the aerolite in the presence of the emperor and court. Ensisheim, Alsace, November 1492. Escaping from me into warm air, felt the wall cold. The second I blinked, I thought, yes, I did blink. Closed eye shut for a second only. She had disappeared when my eyes were opened again. The sun gone, she had disappeared. The tomb door blocked and sealed. Passover, Haggadah.
The children's game, how they stood in a circle, danced then, the ring, the rose. They had risen early to seek the river. Walked out, she had said, we will not return. The death, the decay, we will not return, he said. Follow the river down instead, find the sea. Walked out into the street, found the children then, stood in a circle with them, the dance, the blood that flowed, the skull they were to find. Later their hands now joined in the circling. It was spring or summer. Later they would live by the sea, a house, the children to play by the shore. Found it when it first washed in the body, their own bodies joined as it were. The children formed a ring, tossed the ball as they moved among them. The birds made love among the trees. We will follow the river. If there is a story, it is this. A stream to follow, a line that must continue, circles in on itself. The children dancing with it as they dance, the two of them. Follow the line from their house to the river, from the river to the sea.
Will you stay and see pretty Susie dance amongst them all? Will you drink of the blood, the white wine and the red? Or will you go and see pretty Susie when that I am dead? Susie charms the birds from the sky, the fish from out of the bay, and there she lies in a true love's arms, and there is content to stay.
The sea moved in upon them, the children gone, the house closed down, the walls moved in like the sea, like the liking link, the lights moved in upon them, like the day before they're like the other, like liking not the reverse negatives, the lake that was not a lake but so much like a sea, like the liking he did like liking her, she did not know who she was or who she was like. The day rising early, she moved like the wall towards the sea, like she was drowning, like a drowning body washing in through the window. She is unlike herself, unlike me.
Princess, forgive my eyes fallen between the fingers pressed against me. These are difficult times, the Middle Kingdom long ago gone, returning in the words that writed on the wall, stone skull. Perfect facsimiles picked up for less than $5 in any museum. That is not quite it. Forgive me, forgive this covering of myself in words, the energy drained from the tongue, stifled in bodies lying there. A major air crash, Malton Airport, less than a year ago. People driving out to see the wreckage, hoping for a body uncovered. The sackcloth didn't blow in the winds there. Snake-like blaze across the eastern sky. Stop cycle, stop cycle, stop cycle.
I glanced at my watch. It was daylight, and through the window we could not see. It was 7:30. Daylight. And I could not see her hair. I glanced at my watch. It was 7:30. And I could not see her hair. The clock on the wall of the station waiting room was striking. It was 7:30. But we could not hear. I could not see her hair with the light from the corridor. The blinds were down, the panes cold. I placed my head against. It was March 4, 7:30. The lines were icy and the sky wide. We all felt but did not see. People were awakening and necks were stiff and suits were creased, but I could not see her hair. Breakfast began being served in the restaurant car. It was a cold morning. It was 7:30. Glanced at the watch. I could not see her hair. She still lay heavy in my arms, her neck soft, her body still, and in my arms as my fingers played, her soft neck warming to my fingers, played. My fingers played through her hair, played through her hair, played in her hair as my fingers played in her hair played through her hair as my fingers played through her hair. Her hair. The morning sun behind the window. Beneath the hills, the faint bells came. I could not see her hair. My fingers played through her hair. I could not see, I could not hear the faint bells through her hair. The hills away, the faint bell lost. I could not see, but touch her hair.
What is becoming? It has passed now. What has passed? It is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into. What is becoming, it has passed now. What has passed, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into. What is becoming, it has passed now. What has passed, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into. What is becoming, it has passed now. What has passed, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into. What is becoming, it has passed now. What has passed, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into. What is becoming, it has passed now. What has passed, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now. An open ending, an ending opened into. What is becoming, it has passed now. What has passed, it is become again. All this, it is apparent now.
Doors close upon the clock. Hours open. time out of measurement rounds into a form. Boulders shaped by hand or by the movements of the tide. There are elements the eye can't see, and every cell holds history its prisoner. Blood is kept as touchstone for the heart's remark, and words form in the maplessness of mind just beyond the telling of the mouth.
One must have. One must have.
And not to think of any misery. And not to think of any misery. And not to think. Then nothing that is. Then nothing that is.
I have driven over a road which is the mind, blind as we sometimes think ourselves to be. There is a sea regarding looks, waves that we see. Eastward this yarn rising, I have driven on a road which is the mind, blind as we sometimes think ourselves to be. There is a sea regarding long waves that we see. Eastward this yarn rising, I have driven on
What I am about to say could be monotonous, but what is monotony if what I am about to say exploits
What?
monotony? I don't know, but this still does not answer my question as to what is monotony. I will try to answer, and as I was the one who posed the question, it should not be very difficult for me to find one, should it? What is monotony but the removal of the joy of anticipation, and thereby the removal of insecurity? What is monotony but this? Whatever is a process of repetition is monotony. Is monotony a process then of repetition? This is another question I have asked. It is only right that I answer it for you. What is repetition? I ask again, what is repetition? What is it? Is it an extension of dimensions, a destruction of boundaries? It is only just that I answer these questions, as I am the one who has posed them. But first I should tell you what Gertrude Stein has said about repetition. Having read a lot of Gertrude Stein, I should tell you what she says about repetition, shouldn't I? And as I am the one who has just asked this question, it is only right that I should answer it. This is, of course, should not be very difficult, as I am the one who has asked the question. Stein says, repetition. There is no repetition. There is no such thing as repetition. What is a repetition but an increase in insistence, an increase in pressure, whether it is visual pressure or tactual pressure or emotional emotive
hear
pressure.
you.
It is an
I can't
increasing
hear you. Did you
insistence,
say
not
something?
repetition.
Did you
As
say
I reach the
something?
bottom of
I
this
can't hear
page,
what he
making
said.
my
I
first
can't hear
typing
you.
error, I have no
can't
desire
hear
to
you.
amend and pretend I did not make it.
What do you
As I
say?
reach the bottom, I
can't
should
hear you.
repeat.
I can't
Repetition
hear you.
is
I
not
can't
really
hear you.
repetition, but
Did you
insistence.
say
What has
something?
this to do with
Did you
monotony?
say-
As I am the
did
one
you
who has
say
just
something?
asked this question,
Did
I feel it is
Did you
only
say
right that I
something?
should answer
Did
it.
you-
After all,
did you
it
say
should not be
something?
difficult to do so, as I am the one who has just asked this question. If monotony is the removal, but there you see, I've started on a hypothetical, which is not really very good. I'll try. Whoops, there goes my first piece of punctuation. Monotony, I put it to you, is the removal of the joy of anticipation. Although I personally find little joy in anticipating, monotony is the removal of...
Did you say something?
What?
Nothing but no and I and I and no. How falls it out so strangely, you reply? I tell ye fair, I'll not be answered so, with this affirming no, denying I. I say I love, you slightly answer I. I say you love, you pule me out a no. I say I die, you echo me with I. Save me, I cry, you sigh me out a no. Must woe and I have naught but no and I? No I am I, if I no more can have. Answer no more, with silence make reply, and let me take myself what I do crave. Let no and I, with I and you be so, then answer no and I and I and no. Nothing but and. How falls it out so strangely, you reply? Tell ye fair, I'll not be answered so, with this affirming, denying. Say, love, you slightly answer. Say, you love, you pule me outer. Say, die, you echo me with. Save me, cry, you sigh me outer. Must woe and have naught but and am, if more can have, answer more, with silence make reply, and let me take myself what do crave. Let and with and you be so, then answer and nothing but and. How falls it out so strangely, you reply? Tell ye fair, I'll not be answered so, with this affirming, denying. Say love, you slightly answer. Say love, you pule me outer. Say die, you echo me with save me, cry. You sigh me outer, must woe and have naught but and, am, if more can have. Answer more, with silence make reply.
After Bennings no score in the Montreal game, Dr. 5 to the Boston, Philadelphia. After 1 Cincinnati.
In the middle of a blue balloon. 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 In the middle of a blue balloon.
pulse, Robbie. What is it? My God, Lee! Is he on drugs? Harold! What are you doing?
Hold up! Open up!
Let me in! Let me in!
Now we make the offering to the gods of your organ of blood! Amanda, at this moment, I don't really feel like discussing theology.
At the center of the world, a dark cloud that rises. In the eyes, the eyes, the dawn the day before you, walk through mist under